Greetings, my audience. I am reviewing a comic book movie called I forget when it was specifically. It was a Marvel movie, I think, but I think I got a better idea. Greetings, my audience. I said that already. Right. My name is Jake Allen Graham. That's my name on my channel. My name is that. And I'm reviewing a movie from 1997. A comic book movie called Spawn. The director's cut and theatrical cut. I give one, the theatrical cut is a PG-13 flick, and the director's cut is rated R. So, I give both cuts a 10 out of 10. They're one of the greatest popcorn movies this movie has spawned. This movie is one of the greatest comic book movies of all time. Sure, it might be loosely based on the comic book. Sure, it might take sure, it might not look, sure, it doesn't do justice like the source material because it fails to be dark and, you know, it aims more for camp and it comes off more camp than dark. Because I guess, look, if who's seen Spawn, the animated series, that HBO series that was really good, it was more in line with the comics were more in line with Spawn, the animated series tone. If you want to understand of the comics of Spawn. This is more in line with the 1966 Batman. That is the Batman show with Adam West. From the 60s. You know, in terms of playing, it was tongue-in-cheek. Comic book tone. And we got, like, the creative Spawn to write at do some of the writing in this movie. So we know we got a seal of approval. Script. And we got a talented cast to play these comic book characters to life. Those who's watched the Nostalgia Critic that Doug Walker plays on YouTube, Nostalgia Critic, he kind of, I don't think he watched the Spawn movie. Because he kind of fucked up a bit. Like, why skip the montage of Spawn using the training to use his powers? Well, because it's explaining the movie, Spawn has only a limited amount of times he can use his powers before he drains them. And if he drains them, he has to go send back to hell. So he can only use them for bare minimum amount of his powers with the suit. And this is playing the Spawn movie mythology, and that's how it is in the comics and the cartoons, and explaining the movie pretty well by the guy who takes Spawn under his wing after he comes back from hell and he was amnesia like in the comics. But still remembers who Wanda was. Still remembers Wanda. To be fair, he doesn't have total amnesia like he did in the comics or in the Spawn cartoon, where he remembers like nothing except the name Wanda. So he doesn't have total amnesia. He still has amnesia, just not total amnesia. But a good chunk of amnesia, is there. and then gets jumped out by Clown, who's played by John Leguizamo, the demon clown from hell, who's is well played by John Leguizamo, the actor playing Clown. His performance is fine, and so is in the makeup. His performance isn't bad, and this feels like if, you know, like the 60s Batman from Adam West ever made a cartoon, or, you know, not a cartoon, ever made a, like a Halloween special of a movie, is what Spawn movie feels like with this tone of the movie Spawn. But it has better characters than Thor Ragnarok. Or Avengers Endgame. You know, I just think the Avengers aren't as likable as Spawn as a character. This is a 10 out of 10. It probably doesn't do justice to the source material because it feels to be dark like the source material with the tone. And it's more campy than dark. This movie comes across with its tone a lot of the times. Like, it feels like one of those... When I say campy, I mean, this feels like campier than that, and more kid-friendly than Hocus Pocus movie. The first Hocus Pocus movie, the Disney flick. This feels more campy and lighthearted than Hocus Pocus, with its jokes and its juvenile humor that it throws in. And also its plot twists and turns and everything. Involved in the dialogue, even, in the plot. It's a lot more campier and silly than Hocus Pocus movie that Disney put out. By Disney. So, this Bond movie feels like a Disney flick. Just like Marvel. Like, this feels like one of the more influential comic book movies of all time before the MCU was born in 2008. I can see where the MCU took inspiration. Some inspiration has to go to the brilliant writing that Spawn delivered with this campy charm, popcorn goodness. This is one of the more influential comic book movies of all time, Spawn. Who would have thought that this would age like a fine wine? I bet you guys didn't think of this before you saw my video. That's why I give Spawn a 10 out of 10. This movie was very fun. Of a flick. One of the more funnish comic book movies ever I've seen. I love this movie. This is a very influential comic book movie, I see. And it kind of painted the way of the genre moving forward with 2008 and beyond 2008 was Marvel. I see Marvel took inspiration from Spawn with the storytelling ideas. I wouldn't be surprised if Spawn made a cameo in the MCU by Disney rights. This version of Spawn feels like it could belong on the big screen with the MCU characters. This ain't your granddaddy Spawn from the comics or from the HBO series Spawn. This Spawn's too campy and kid-friendly and funny of a character of a movie. This is Spawn is one of those charming, warm-hearted, kid-friendly goodness movies, good feeling movies. Spawn has moments where it can be dark, but here and there, and can be violent here and there, but it's mostly camp. A lot of what these shows camp. But the old-fashioned 60s camp, like Anna West was from. I hope you enjoy this video. 10 out of 10 this movie gets. I approve this movie. Goodbye. Subscribe. Like this video. Please. Till next time.